Okay, sorry for the glitch. I think those who are live, can hear me now. So, if you have been a regular participant on my shows, you will know that I have an execution and action bias. Like most of you, I, however, realize that having a vision is a starting point of all meaningful work. If we don't know where we are going, running faster or better doesn't help. Right? So, knowing where we are going is the vision part of all execution plans. Most of execution assumes that the vision is in place and is worthwhile. What if it isn't? What if the vision is not there? It is not worthwhile. It's not grand enough. It's not meaningful enough. It doesn't do anything for humanity. It doesn't do anything for society. Those kind of questions. So, how do you create a vision that will engage and inspire? Do you need to be a CEO to do this, or can you do it if you have a small team and you are just managing a function? Uh, we will explore all these questions today with a mind that is one of the best in the business on vision based leadership. Hello, friends. This is Anshuman Tiwari, your host on the show Manage Better. This show is live on LinkedIn Live and YouTube and Twitter today. All archives are available on my website, managebetter.in. Please note that .in, and of course my YouTube channel. Do subscribe to the channel if you like the content, and you will obviously get more content, more alerts or regular alerts for the next episodes. Um, as you know, this show is about getting better every day, every month, every year. None of us have a control on where we start in life, but we surely can control the journey of where we are going. How do we improve every day is the theme of the this show. For all of us, getting better at what we do is not an option. We have to get better because that's how what life is. And this, as I said, this show I try and bring teachers, coaches, consultants, and authors who deeply connect with this theme of manage better. So today, one such guest, Dr. Oleg Konovalov. Dr. Oleg Konovalov is I will bring him into the stream in a minute, is called the Da Vinci of visionary leadership. Right? So he's the best of the best in the world today. And Oleg is thinkers on the Thinkers 50 radar. He's Global Guru's top 30 ranked leader, has been recognized as number one global thought leader on culture by Thinkers 360, is number one global leading coach on Goldsmith's Thinkers 50, and many other lists. So without much ado, I will bring Oleg into the stream. Welcome, Oleg. Thank you for being here.
Hello, Anshuman. Thank you very much for inviting me. Thank you. Much appreciated. Thank you.
No, our pleasure totally. I'm sure the guests, the whole, the audience will love the show today. Just to complete Oleg's introduction, also he's been named as one of the top 10 most inspiring global thought leader by the Excelligent, and many more accolades. I would suggest those who are interested in knowing more about Dr. Oleg to go to his website, olegkonovalov.com. I will share the address during the show as well. So, Dr. Oleg, or Oleg, as you insist, I call you. Over to you for some opening comments, if you have any.
A simple comment. We are obliged to make our lives meaningful. We are brought into this world, which is pretty meaningless. And no one could make it for us meaningful. It's our obligation to live in happy families, to run meaningful businesses. We often consider it as some kind of a gift. It's not a gift. It's a focused thinking about the future. It's nothing about, oh, I might be lucky or something would happen. I would wait for that miracle. No, we are creators of that miracle. The way we think, the way we act defines how we would live tomorrow. And it's nothing restricts us. It's about us defining how the future would look like. It's about us creating value for others and creating those multidimensional spaces that will be better than today. there is a common belief. Vision is a gift. Vision is our aspiration for the future that we strive to make a reality today. So it's nothing like being gifted for aspirations. I noticed when I work with my clients or participants on my course, one of the first questions I'm always asking, what were your aspirations like 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 1 year ago, now? We tend to ignore them. We tend to believe that we are too adults, we are too serious, we are not supposed to dream. We are not supposed to dream in real terms. We are the killers of own visions. And that's the trouble. Instead of being inspiring for others, we're saying, no, I wouldn't do it. That makes a whole lot of difference. Are you prepared to live in the past, which is not usually very good, instead of creating something brilliant for tomorrow? That's very different. So everything we have for the future, we already have it. We have it in our minds, we have it in our hands, and this is about how we think. Vision is our way of thinking that would define our happiness, satisfaction, and even evolution. And that is the greatest legacy that we could leave for the next generation, because we will help them to live their life in a meaningful way. That is what I want to say.
Yeah, I think that's an awesome start to the session, because, like you said, getting better is not a choice. It's not an option. We have to get better for the sake of our own generation, for larger humanity. Every generation, and these days I've been studying a lot about human history, anthropology, and how different cultures evolved. One thing is very common across the world in most cultures which evolved, and this is from a time thousands of years ago when there was no communication between parts of the world. But the generations and the tribes which survived, they survived because of collaboration and cooperation and the will to go forward, because everybody else was killing each other and eating them up, right? So the others were killing and eating each other up. So that's a good start to the show. That probably brings me to one important question that almost everybody I spoke to some people, while preparing for the show, as to what should I ask Oleg. And one common theme was around, why is having a vision so important? Why can't we be just working hard and making sure that we are doing what is required, and um, we we will get there? Why is having a vision so critical to effective leadership or to leadership itself?
Actually, it's a great question because it continues your previous notion. Vision is not a choice. Vision is a decision to live differently. Even as you mentioned, those historical pivots, they all came up as a result of firm decisions to do something or live differently. But yes, that is very important when we understand why vision is important. There are 6 reasons. First, vision defines our highest purpose. So we know where we go, where we fully focus ourselves, where we fully commit ourselves. Vision defines our why. Why I wake up in the morning to do something, why I'm going to office, why, in fact, what I do for people. Vision defines what kind of future we will live. And of course, vision is about, can be viewed as a greatest ladder to success. I'm not talking local, global. To be successful, to see the results of your commitment. Vision is very important if you want to break out of negativity or from non-satisfactory present. And you can't break out without knowing where to go. Otherwise, you will be getting from one trap to another trap. And of course, vision is a huge magnet for people. It's a huge uniting force. But I would add one more thing. Vision defines your lifestyle, in a way how you think, how you act. So you're not acting snobby, you're acting beyond yourself. And this is quite important. When you start realizing the importance of vision, you would realize that, okay, vision is the second most critical asset after the life itself. Life is our greatest asset, but vision is our second asset. And I'm always asking, would you fight for that second asset, or the second most important asset, as for your life? Of course. And that is as simple. This is where, it's not only direction, it's the whole range of things, like being meaningful, living meaningfully, living to the best of your abilities, create something for others. And that is something you would really feel committed. And when you see the results of it, you are really, truly satisfied. Therefore, vision is critical. I talked about the importance of vision to 19 brilliant visionaries across the globe. Marshall Goldsmith is famous. He is the father of executive coaching. David Katz, Gary Rich, Amit Kapoor, people from India to Canada, from US to Arab Emirates, from different countries. And they all confirm the same thing. Unless we understand why vision is important, we're taking it as a meaningless term. So get ready why it is important. Thank you.
Yeah, I think so. So this is a good segue because you mentioned you spoke to several global leaders, 19 of them, and including Marshall Goldsmith. But I was trying to move now to making this a little bit more real. So of course, like you pointed out, vision is not a choice. We owe it to the generation. We owe it to everybody else who's around us. Society has given the responsibility to some people who have seen this truth, and it is our therefore responsibility to take it further, right? So I'd see it that way, right? So it's not a burden, it's a responsibility for some of us who have probably seen it a little in a better, more useful way. So I just thought, for my audience, if we can make it a little bit more real, Oleg, that any examples, because examples, stories, excite people. So any examples of leading companies or leading organizations which benefited from visionary leadership, and if you have some and you're willing to share some examples of companies or organizations that failed because of this absence of a vision.
I will start in reverse. 50 years ago, an average lifespan of a large corporation was about 75 years. Today, average lifespan of a large corporation is only 15 years ago. And I'm strongly related to the lack of vision. They're trying to create products, but they don't have actual vision. And I'm in conversation with quite a few largest IT companies of today's world that are struggling because they lost their vision and they're immediately losing their positions. As opposite, of course, it comes what vision could give you in practical terms. WD-40, this company with this famous spray, with all of us using it at home or in garages, even Formula One using it. Almost a mono product, WD-40. The company is capitalized at $2.7 billion. People from all over the world supporting it. It's exported into 176 countries. And this company has the highest employee engagement rate, 96%. This is highest in the world. So people are really happy to work at this company, which is big company. It's about vision. India. I'm really delighted and honored to collaborate with Professor Amit Kapoor. He is the founder and chairman of Institute for Competitiveness of India. He takes care of geo-economical development of India. So his aims are even beyond today. It's about how to make India really flourishing. And they're quite successful at the initiatives because they do everything not for themselves, but for people. And of course, they are getting a lot of support. Plastic Bank. It's a fantastic social enterprise that takes care of cleaning the world ocean from the plastic waste, at the same time helping people to get out of poverty. People collecting plastic. Plastic Bank buys it as for electronic money. They're paying for food, schooling, shelter, healthcare, Wi-Fi, for everything. And they're helping thousands and thousands and thousands of people to live better every day in the ocean to become cleaner. So we could, of course, we know cases or examples of Tesla or SpaceX, but there are a lot of companies around us that really meaningful, that really live by their vision, and they are really becoming like lighthouses for all of us. And that is so exciting, I will tell you, between us, to talk with these people, because you get inspired in a matter of minutes, because it's so powerful. It really gets everything around them. That's phenomenal. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's some unusual examples, and this is something that I would like to highlight to my audience as well, that vision is not just about that shiny next phone that we all want. There is a lot more to this world that needs to be done. Like cleaning the oceans. Helping other people, if we can't, helping other people alleviate or reduce poverty across the world. So there is a lot more about vision than running your company or running your department, and we all can make a difference. And that's the reason why I thought Dr. Oleg Konovalov will be a awesome speaker on the show, because I do want to expand this topic, that it is not just about what we do at work and what we do to make a living. There is a lot more than that in the world.
You see, we could look from a very simple perspective. Vision comes when your conscious awareness of a problem you want to solve for the benefit of others reaches its peak. If we think about living in a happy family, it's not thinking about me, it's about thinking about my partner. How she would live. Would she be happy? And so supporting each other, caring of each other, growing together. When we talk about business, in terms of how your business is meaningful, what kind of a problem do you want really to solve for the benefit of your customers? It's nothing about your bottom line. It's about people being satisfied. If they're satisfied, you will be well off, because there will be happy customers paying money for your service or for your product or whatever you do. That's quite important, to go beyond yourself for the benefit of others.
Yeah, and there's nobody else in the world today who can put this better than you can. So I definitely relate with this aspect of going beyond, right? And there's no greater joy in this world if we can help somebody else in a small way, in a more bigger way, whatever way.
Look, it's not nothing about talking. Oh, I will take my last short and I'll give it to others. No, it's about true altruistic with the benefit for others. It's nothing about I want to be millionaire or billionaire, because who would support you? Who would care about your personal things? But if you would say, hey guys, I want all of us to be better, then you will get support. Then you will have resources. Those resources will come to you. You clearly know what you need. It's nothing to be. I want to be better than everyone else. No, I want all of us to be better. I have a group of clients and people who are trained, and we have a simple principle: we're here to reveal the greatness of each other. So it's nothing about who is better. It's about all of us being better.
Yeah, that's really well said. If all of us get better, then we also raise the average level of all of us together. So
Yeah.
yeah, that actually brings me. You spoke a little bit about your book briefly when you mentioned that you spoke to 19 global leaders. So let's do that a little bit. Yeah, that's the book. So for
The vision
this
code.
is yeah. And this is already doing really really well across the world, also in India now. And of course I tried the Kindle version, and available across Amazon and other bookstores as well. But the question I wanted to present to you, Oleg, is more about why did this book happen and how did it happen, is more important. So I'm more interested actually in the why, because the how is probably easier to understand, and I'm sure you will speak about it, but the why and how. So tell us a bit more about the book and why and how did it happen, and then let's hear from the horse's mouth.
Thank you. This book started with me asking myself ages ago, more than 20 years ago. I have started asking myself, why do I live? And where do I go? And what I do at this world. I was looking for these answers and realized, okay, it's about vision, what I would do in this life. And then it's what immediately struck me. We know nothing about vision. We are talking about mission statements. We talk about goals. We can't even articulate what vision is in a clear sense. And so it was impossible to find any information how to apply it, how to create it. So it was nothing about it. And then I decided, okay, I will take a bold bet. I will research it. I I decided for myself, it wasn't a choice, it was a decision, that I will go beyond myself and I will try to find what vision is, what's nature of it, and how to present vision as a practical business tool. And I did it. Because when you know that you're creating something important for the future will help you to find the answers. So I was looking for something important for our future, and the future probably helped me. It, I was, connected with brilliant people from across the globe. I was getting the right answers, but it still took quite a few years to find those things together. It's not about how quickly you could write a book in a few months or so. No, it's about how quickly you could create it as a system which is very simple and practical. So my aim was simple: make vision as the most powerful tool for every leader, for every person who is thinking about the future. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a very interesting. So I think I'm glad you answered the why part, because that's usually I speak to when I speak to authors, I'm very interested in why. The how is usually you get around it, and there's a method to writing a book. It takes some people take 5 years, people take 5 months, but Usually the process is similar, I notice, but the why is very different for everybody, really. So I think thanks for that. And you also did mention some people that you spoke to. So thanks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You see, vision is, it's not your sole product. It's not nothing your soul. You learn from others. You listen to others. You collaborate with others when you create a vision. And for a vision to be real vision, you must share it with others as quickly as possible. You must make others the co-owners of vision. You see, very important aspect when you work on your vision. It's not about what you would do with it. It's about how your vision will impact you. So you must create it so strong that it will impact others in a good way. It will inspire others, and they will become the sources of inspiration for others in own turn. So it's an incredible effect.
Yeah, I think I'm a bit mesmerized, but moving on to the next piece of questions. Uh, and this is my belief that, and I'm not anti-leadership or anything, but I do believe that, 99.99% of people uh, who go every day to work, and not in these days, but, who work for a living, are actually executing a vision that was set, right? Of course they are part of that vision, they are making a difference, but there is a vision which they are now executing, and there needs to be a vision in that as well, because unless I'm invested in that vision, I will not be able to execute it properly. So my question therefore is that for the 99.99% of the workforce who actually are more deeply invested in implementation or execution, what is the message that your book and your work Vision Code carries for such people who are invested in implementation and execution? I'm sure there is a link, but I thought to ask you.
That's true. Thank you. Vision is not important or not necessary for people who do their work from 8 to 5 at factory, at a factory. But vision is critical for any knowledge worker. So, manager, leader, for somebody who defines where other people should go. Because leadership is not only for selected few. Leadership is about showing people where we go, how we will get there, and therefore we need to have vision. Vision is critical at any level, even if you're middle manager or senior manager or top manager, doesn't matter. You must have a vision. You can have your vision which really fits into overall corporate vision. But you must understand how do you live your life and why do you do this work to make it more meaningful. It's nothing about producing sweat. It's about producing meaning. And that is quite important. You must understand how it works. If you understand how it works, you will support somebody else's vision, or you will create your own and you will go for your own way, or you would contribute it to your company, would make your company stronger. And this is quite important. So it's not only for the C-suite, it's for everyone. I know even a case, already few cases, when departments which were strong together, they created own vision and their visions were adapted by the headquarter. So it's how you could contribute to that one. But what's important to remember that most often people are not following that vision because it's not actually a vision. It doesn't inspire them. If it's vision, in fact, is bigger than you or me, it's bigger than an organization. Therefore, people are really pulled into it. If they are not inspired by it, it's not a vision. It's just a statement. And therefore, they're saying, oh, yeah, what's in it for me? Why I should commit myself? And therefore, it must be revised before we talk why people are not buying it. Thank you.
Yeah, I think I like the part that vision. Uh, the otherwise it's a statement. If people don't relate and don't get inspired, and inspired and engaged is a word I often use, because if people don't believe, people are not inspired by the vision, they are not engaged, they are not giving what they can, and then it becomes that framed, something like behind me, there's a stuff on the wall, which when there is a visitor or a audit or an assessment, you will show, okay, this is my vision, and it means nothing more than that. And the best companies, and I often go to, and some of my audience, and I'm sure you relate to this, that when Sony became Sony in the 70s, the major, of course today it's a totally different company, but there was about a 25-year period which they completely ruled the consumer electronics world. And they did not really have a vision at that point, because they said that we are okay with serving customers. And in fact, their vision statement did not have a word customer also in it. They were a little ahead of their time, and they were comfortable with that because they were delivering on that, and that's sometimes very engaging and inspiring for their population. So there is this, sometimes this fashion or a trend that it should have the word innovation, it should have the word customer, and there you go, you have a fantastic vision statement. But some of the world's best vision based companies, including Sony, um, never did have a word customer in their vision statement for many many years. Now things may be different, but in their heydays, they didn't have it. So it still works.
Yeah, but here we need to consider your vision should evolve. Your vision should be revitalized. It should grow. And as we learn, Sony was a great example of trying to create it in a good sense. But think of a Disney. They are brilliant. They
Yeah.
do it in a great way, and there's a great example really being focused on people and making their life experience, their entertainment is very differently. Not much has changed in their vision. They're just making it stronger, stronger, and stronger, but in the same direction. And we are all, just watching them with a great pleasure of visiting their parks. That's great.
Yeah, and by some coincidence, Disney is probably the most repeated company on my show in terms of citing. Almost everybody, including me, all of us are
Mhm.
fans, because they've just remained
Yeah.
consistent. Their standards have not dipped over the years, and they've just gone from strength to strength. And yeah, awesome.
With the entertainment industry, the competition is fierce. But think of the National Geographic. We're all watching them, and they're
Yeah.
delivering amazing products, amazing programs, and all of us will learn from them. And that is incredible. We're looking for solutions beyond today, beyond ourselves, and we're raising that standards. Therefore, I'm saying it defines our evolution. If we'll be producing the same things again and again, we would not evolve. We know evolution.
Yeah, absolutely said. Well said, sir. We will. We've already started getting. I usually get into questions around half an hour into the show, so we have already started getting a lot of questions for you, and I will, of course, curate and pick some. And my apologies to people whom I can't mention in this show. But the good thing is that most questions are on LinkedIn, and you can always, when you have the time, sir, you can go and check and maybe answer at that point. Last question from my side before we get into the audience questions, and this may be a little bit of a trick question for you. We will, of course, recommend that everybody reads your book, right? But
Thank
what
you.
are the books that you read, and which leadership gurus' work has influenced your thinking and work? And if you had to recommend one book, or one reading resource, which one will you recommend?
I'm really inspired or greatly impacted by the works of Peter Drucker. I love what he does, did, and is amazing. I learned a lot from Marshall Goldsmith, a lot. from his book, What Got You Here Wouldn't Get You There, Triggers, Mojo. Yet, if I want to find something more meaningful and challenging myself, I love reading Paulo Coelho. I love reading Terry Pratchett. It's about setting yours into two things: a multidimensionality of thinking and about being wise. Because it's not about repeating somebody else's work, it's about creating own spaces. And that's important for you to be really inspired, really wise, and really brave to break into new areas. This is my approach. And this is from where I learned from all those people. Thank you.
Yeah, so I will now get into questions from the audience. So my namesake Anshuman Sharma has asked, what are the key components of a vision statement? And of course, I do want to remind everybody that Oleg didn't talk about a vision statement, right? We are not here talking about a statement.
I would,
It's about
I
a
would
vision.
go in line, just to make it simple.
Sure.
Vision is a multidimensional space in the future that we strive to live, and therefore we attract people, we create it. It's very pragmatic, it's very functional. I have a vision viability test which stands on the 6 criteria how to test it. Okay, cool. Therefore, it is investable, it is practical, realistic, executable. Vision statement or mission statement is more about our social impact, or what kind of an impact we will have on a society along this journey. And of course, it's not about goals. To achieve a vision, we must reach a number of different goals, which are finite. I completed something, we reached that level of technology, we're moving to the next level of technology. So we're resetting our goals, but the vision is still there. And therefore, it is important to consider those 6 elements. Why vision we could see as pragmatic. First one is stimulus. What's in it for people? Because it's about leadership. I'm acting for people, I'm acting with people and for their needs. So, in fact, what is the value for people in your vision? It's about scale, how it will grow, not because of artificial expansion. It's about where and how you will be adding value again and again and again for your vision to grow. It's about spotlight. Spotlight, it's our responsibility. We're all putting our skin into the game, because if we have a vision, we're responsible because we're impacting people's life. It's about scanning. I must be relevant. How your approach and what do you want to solve is relevant to now and to the future. So you must be grounded. And of course, it's about simplicity, because vision is an elegant thinking about complicated things. If it's not simple, people wouldn't buy it, they wouldn't understand it. We all of us tend to ignore complicated things. If I say a complicated app, I wouldn't touch it. And of course, it's about excitement and passion, because it's about touching people's hearts. It's about not just knocking their minds, it's about opening hearts. And this is where if it's really strong vision, all of us will become multipliers of that passion. So if you go through these 6 elements, and there are certain questions in my book about this, we could see that difference, because none of those mission statements will pass that test.
Yeah, I think so. There you go. To the people, and there were 2-3 such similar questions. So I tried to club everything into one. And there is Endile Kwakweni. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. He also asked a similar question, and there is another set of questions which I'm trying to bring together in this one from Margaret. Seems to be a fan of yours, Dr. Oleg. This is my question for you. If you had the passion to create something from childhood, what is the reason it's left behind to simmer back in your mind for so many years? think this might be true for almost everybody. A lot of us have some passion from childhood about something, which is a vision or sort of a vision, but it gets left behind. Any thoughts on that?
From my childhood, I was very keen to explore something. And of course, at the later stage, it's, it's, I got into area of exploring a new terrains and new fields in leadership, for instance, or in leadership thinking. At a certain point, we're killing that child within us. We're thinking, no, we're too serious, we're too adults. No, it shouldn't be good. Or I should care of immediate things like food, shelter, and things like that. But those who are able to preserve that child within own self would become a visionary a bit quicker. So, but it's still possible to do. That's quite important. Another thing is, every generation insists on kids to repeat their own mistakes. Like parents saying to kids, oh, you shouldn't do it. You should behave differently. Then those kids will insist to their kids behave that way instead of inspiring. So we are the killers of the dreams of our kids as well.
Yeah, very profound. Margaret, I hope you had some pointers to the question you had asked. And moving on, very interesting question. It's on the screen as well. Oleg Bakari Abu Bakar from Africa. He very keenly follows this show. Can we get a listing of books that Oleg gets his multi-dimensional thinking from? So obviously, he's a fan, and so any response to this or anything that you could write a blog or something with the
I
books
probably
that you.
need to write about it because the list would be quite long, very long, and quite surprising because it could be something very classical to something very strange. But also, I'm learning a lot from nature. I love go fishing somewhere in Arctic. I lived half of my life in Arctic, and when you go on your own fishing, you becoming a part of that nature, and nature is the greatest teacher. You learn from nature, you watch it, and of course, I believe people must be bookwise, learning from the lessons of others. Streetwise, not only in terms how to fight on the streets or be quick on your run, no, but how to meet people and learn from people, listen to them. And of course, we must be nature-wise because nature is the wisest thing on the earth, and we should learn from it.
There you
It's
go.
far beyond the books.
Bakari, there's your answer.
Thank you.
One question from. I'm just trying to cover different questions so that we can. Mihail from Bulgaria, he wants to know: can you name one fatal mistake that is most commonly seen in various vision that or statements or
Oh,
code that
cool.
you've seen?
Great question. It's about proclaiming your ego. We want to be the best company in the world. You can't be the best. You can't be the most valuable for your customers or for your employees. Then you will get result. But being number one in something, oh, we want to be the wealthiest company, or we want to be highest in turnover company, we want to be a company of billion or $1 billion company, that's something that people immediately saying goodbye. I'm not interested because it's nothing for me in it.
There you go, Mihail. I almost expected this answer, but great question. Like Viren Shukla, a professor with leading management institutes in India, he wants to know how do we facilitate common people creating a vision for themselves and live meaningfully. I think this is very common for all of us attending the show. Is that like I said, not all of us can claim to be in that 0.01%, right? So we are
No,
living the 99.99% life. And like Professor Shukla
it's
says,
about it's
how
about
do
great
we split?
communication. If you have a strong vision, it must be communicated even stronger. You
Hmm.
must talk to people, not send them emails, which is good, but you still need to talk to people. You, as I mentioned, you must make people realize that they are co-owners of vision. They must be able to contribute to it in one way or another. And what is more important, they must see that they will get the rewards of it. They will benefit from that vision. They're not the slaves of that vision. They're co-creators of it, and so they're co-owners of it. They're co-owners because they're getting the results of it.
Like, just scanning the questions. Just almost, we planned 45 minutes and we are almost there. Mihail says thank you. I just want to call out Madhu Madhavan. He's CEO of and major entrepreneur in India with multiple companies in this space. He's been putting a summary of the session in comments, right? So later on, I would recommend all of us on the show to also check the summary that Madhu has been putting up. One last question, hopefully, from Sridhar. Founder of an organization will have a vision for his or her venture. I am adding her because I think it is time that we recognize that half the world is or the uh, women who not only run our many houses but our lives, and now even large companies. How do we get the people who are working for that venture to align to this vision? Partly this was answered, Sridhar. So I will, but I will let Oleg summarize. And your next question is: should I change my vision if it is not inspiring others? You're
Yes,
up to you.
it's, I would say, not change, but edit, make some additions. Because, as I mentioned, for instance, you have 6 elements. Okay, vision viability test. It doesn't mean that everything is so bad. It's about editing it, twisting in it in terms of making your vision really compelling. And so you're saying, okay, what is missing in this element, in these 6 elements, that stops people getting inspired? It's about revising it and editing in terms of making it stronger. So it's nothing that, I believe, if you build up your vision from your real aspirations and care for people, it should be strong. It's just a matter to adjusting it to making it strong. If it's nothing about your personal ambitions, it's something to play with, something to work about it.
No, really well said. I think there are quite a few more questions, Oleg, but I am very conscious of your time,
No,
and
go on.
and some of them are actually in the same space. So we will let it skip. There is one interesting question. Uh, who's not named, but
Mhm.
it's about India. We in India have a vision of becoming a 5 trillion economy by 2025. But recent pandemic, and all of this pandemic has affected everybody. I normally don't bring pandemic related questions in my show, but I've been trapped this time.
No.
But what is your one message, in this situation, how to stick to this vision and achieve it?
I have through I have been through very tough period of life myself. And I was sitting and I just like was really, really tough. I lost almost everything. And I sat down and I realized, I do remember this moment very, very well. What is greater, my problems or my goals? When you realize that your goals are greater than your problems, you will get them. Because if you think now that pandemic would stop everything, you're wrong. But your great goals to be fantastic economy where all people would benefit from it would make that difference. And it would make it possible. So vision is not, or being a visionary is not about looking for problems and talking about problems all the time. It's about looking for solutions and talk solutions.
Very profound. I think all of us have our own problems in our own ways, and so do countries, right? So some are greater problems, and those who haven't read the book Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, that
Yeah,
is the most amazing book about how you can be through the worst in the life and
yeah,
still come out and live a life which helped others. His all life, rest of his life after the concentration camps,
yeah,
was dedicated to helping everybody else. And I am always reminded of um, his message, his search for meaning. And
yeah.
that's pretty much what you said, Doctor. So that, I think, is bringing our show to an end. And there are a lot of thanks pouring in, but I would rather bring the session to an end. Quite a few questions still coming in, but like I said, most of them are on LinkedIn, and you and I will have the opportunity to go back and respond to
And
them.
yeah,
So, thank you once again, Doctor,
thank
for,
you.
for this wonderful session. Namaste, and I think this has been a masterclass for me as well. And like I say, and during the pre-show, we were chatting around and said, I'm the luckiest one in this whole conversation because I'm learning the most. And thank you for being a wonderful teacher. I just wanted to remind everybody on the show that please check Dr. Konovalov's website. I've put the address on the screen, and you will get more information on books and workshops. He also conducts workshops and teaching sessions for people across the globe, and they are continuing in these times as well. So online is a great leveler in that sense. You could be anywhere. You don't need him in person to be in the room. So many such resources available. So please check that out. And thank you once again to the audience for attending today. Like I do, I always end the show with the announcement for the next show. And the next show is with somebody who is probably the reason I started this series. Right, my guru and mentor, Dr. Suresh Lula. I've finally been able to convince him. He thinks now I'm worthy of his time, and I will have him on the show on 8th of May, 11 a.m. He's the doyen of quality in India, and carrying forward the legacy of Juran and Deming forward. So 11 a.m. Indian Standard Time, 8th May. I will, of course, keep all of you informed. I will also be joined as a co-host by Balaji Reddy, who's the founder of Deming Foundation of India. So looking forward to a great show. From one great show to another. Once again, Dr. Konovalov, thank you once again, and to all my audience. Till the next time, manage better. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Thank you.